A noise like a farmer turning hay with a pitchfork came through the kitchen hatchway. Gordon was sitting at the dining-room table, shuffling through a heap of faxes. Portia thought she had never seen him looking so energized and alive. She preferred not to remember the dread she sometimes saw in his eyes. "We will fight on until my husband's name is cleared." How many times had she heard that over the years from the spouses of Aitken, Hamilton, Archer, Clinton, Nixon, and countless others who had faced scandal while their wives stood by them. She knew that Gordon was not a wicked man. Like most people, he was a child anxious to be loved, and like most men, a boy desperate to prove himself in the world. She could picture him doing so many bad things for so many good reasons. He had spent most of his life trying to catch up. A second-choice husband living off the earnings of a wife who had married him out of pity and her own despair. At the start of their marriage, everything had come from Hilary's money. Portia had been the brilliant young student with the doctorate and academic tenure. Gordon had been the American outsider who never quite managed to fit in. 10 years of bluff talk to friends had taken their toll on his pride. "I'm in the financial advisor game at the moment." He was selling endowment mortgages on commission, somehow worse in Portia's opinion than double glazing or herbal remedies. "A franchise opportunity has opened up. Looking at that quite keenly. He considered managing a Seattle-style coffee bar. "Business consultancy, as a matter of fact." Nothing. "Broking soft commodities." Trading in coffee futures on the residue left by Hilary after she died. And losing it, too. And one last throw. The idea had come from Portia, in fact, though he chose not to remember it. She had heard a programme on the radio about the low world prices being fetched for tea and coffee, a subject Gordon had been kvetching about for years. "Darling, I know it's tough for you that the prices are rock bottom, but what about the pickers?" "Yes, well, obviously it's tough for them, too. Surely lots of people in the West would be prepared to pay extra for coffee and tea if they thought it would benefit the Third World." "That's a brilliant idea, Mum." "It seems to make sense." "Portia, it doesn't quite work like that." "What about it, Dad?" "I remember," Portia had continued, "Peter used to make us buy Nicaraguan coffee to support the revolution and thumb a nose at America. You could buy it everywhere. Collett's bookshop, health stores, those sort of places. They used to advertise it in the New Statesman. Peter even put posters up in the Hampstead Library." "Sure, it sounds all very well in theory. Why did you call Grandpa Peter?" "Did I, darling? It's worth thinking about, though, Gordon, don't you think?" Finally he had achieved something. Success on his own terms. Portia put her head through the hatch. "Gordon, I've got to go out for an hour or so. Got everything you need?" "Going fine, Portia, going fine. A lot of good evidence coming in from Africa, South America, Indonesia. It's looking good." Portia smiled and gave a thumbs up. She had long thought that there was a melancholy air of desolation that hung over dining rooms that were seldom used for dining. Gordon had spread papers on that table before, and never with any good result. The smell of furniture polish and candle wax reminded Portia of death. Dead flies had been candied and preserved in the lips of a half-empty port decanter, and cobwebs furred the dried flowers and fir cones in the fireplace. She remembered when the mirror over the sideboard had been draped with black cloth. Peter, Albert and Gordon, their neckties ripped, had sat Shiva for Hilary on low wooden stools. Albert's face so solemn and white that she had wanted to cover it in kisses and hug him close to her. Peter had stayed there the full 7 days, mourning his wife, and perhaps also the atheism and contempt for ritual of his only daughter. There was no hope to be had from dining rooms. None at all.